Hi there. Welcome to the 18th Annual Damn Short Film Festival. We've reached another one of our Q&A sessions, and this one I'm looking forward to in particular because it's the unholy fusion of horror and underground. So let's bring our filmmakers. We have quite a few here. All right, in the meantime, I'll explain to our audience that underground for us is maybe are a little too racy for children or have some really crazy visuals, and we tend to put them together. They're all very, very different in this case. Hey, Keith, you want to switch this over? There we go. Now we're starting to see some filmmakers. Welcome, guys. Appreciate you being here. As I mentioned, this is two different programs we have. And we have underground kind of inappropriate. So we'll start by maybe going around in a circle. If you guys would introduce yourself, mention your film, which program it's in, and what you did on that film. We'll start with Slav.
Hello. First of all, it's an honor to be part of the Damn Short Film Festival. My name is Slav Velkov. I am from Bulgaria, and my film is part of the underground section, and it's about a working class man who has to.
Unfortunately, I'm losing.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Can anyone hear me right now? Is the signal getting through? Okay. I'll warn you that we've discovered that pretty much every internet connection here in our small town Boulder City kind of sucks right now. Unfortunately, we're discovering that at our location in our festival office. So I might freeze up. We'll try to get through it the best we can. Even though I have multiple internet connections. So did you guys hear any of that just now?
Kind of,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in any case, I can't quite tell if everyone heard Slav's introduction. Did you hear what film he's with and which program? Okay, hopefully the audience out there will hear it. Just me who's locking up. If you want to keep going, Roland.
Sure. My film is Zombie Walk. I'm not sure what category I'm in. I must have forgotten. All I know is I got into the festival and I was excited about that. So thank you very much. Zombie Walk is, in short, about a guy who takes his zombie for a walk through post-apocalyptic downtown Portland, Oregon.
Awesome. Let's jump over to Eno.
Hey, I'm Eno, and my film is called The Pitch, and it is in the comedy section, and it's about pretty much the deconstruction of a commercial pitch process and how crazy it gets when pitching on a silly commercial idea.
Francesco.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me in the festival. First of all, it's really an honor. I'm the director of The Architect's Dream, which is an eerie and surreal film about an architect that decided to turn into her own house. And he has some horror elements, but it's not 100% a horror, I would say.
And Paul?
Hey everyone, I'm Paula Flanagan. My movie is Memento Mori. It's an animated horror that is playing, I think, in the horror section. We were really lucky to get Mark Gatiss to narrate our short, who a lot of people know from Sherlock, Doctor Who, all that kind of stuff. But this is a story about a post-mortem photographer in Victorian Dublin who has all these suppressed feelings of guilt, and is very privileged. But one night, this deceased young woman is his latest client, and it unearths all of these subconscious feelings, and they bubble up to the surface in a nicely horrific and satisfying way.
I'll mention that again. Our underground is kind of a mishmash of different genres and styles. So we do have comedy and underground, along with animation, drama, avant-garde, and so on. So we kind of put it all together, but it's a very unique block. Now, unfortunately, I'm cutting out on my side pretty badly, so I think I'm going to switch my internet connection. So in the meantime, while I'm trying to get reconnected, why don't you guys go around in a circle, because we're all so very much unique. To start with Slav and go around, I'll come back in a second with a new connection.
Okay, I think I didn't hear what Lee said. What were we supposed to say?
I know he cut out like right at the right moment.
Oh, can you hear me now? I'll try again.
Yeah, I can hear now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Our connection is terrible.
well, it
All right,
happens. Internet.
Yeah, you
is
guys
so perfect.
amuse yourself while I reconnect. just go around and
Okay.
talk for a few moments. I'll try to reconnect to a new connection.
Yeah. Well, this is my office. This is Coochie Kopi from Bob's Burgers. For those of you who don't know the show, that's about it.
Where are you guys based?
Portland, Oregon.
Mhm.
I'm based in New York, although I'm from Bulgaria, but I'm currently in New York.
Oh, sweet.
Los Angeles.
LA.
I'm in Vancouver.
It's funny, we're based in Dublin, Dublin, Ireland, and we work in a company called Boulder Media for the last 20 years. And only recently, whenever I Google Boulder Media, companies from Boulder, Colorado would pop up.
I think I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we switch over to another network. We have like 3 networks here, cell and Wi-Fi cable. So, all right, let's see if this is a bit better. Sorry about that. Okay, yay. All right. In any case, what I was going to say is amuse yourselves by talking, going around in a circle. But actually, I can ask a question of all of you. Because your films are all so very much unique, can you speak about what was the inspiration for your very, unique subject and style? I'll start with Slav and go around again.
Okay. So I guess, coming from Bulgaria, in 2020 there were some pretty big protests happening there. People were going out and protesting against a corrupt government that forces people to either comply or migrate. So as any person, I just ask myself, what is the root of these issues? And so to me, the answer is desire. And A New World is a story about how a person's desires control him. That's what it is essentially. So that's what really motivated me, the context back in Bulgaria, to make this film.
I'll describe it briefly. It's a very surreal avant-garde piece of a man who's trapped in a room, who has to go through a bunch of routines or suffer horrible consequences, right? So
Yeah.
So it's about, there's definitely a degree of oppression and fighting for his freedom, I guess you'd say. How about Roland? What was your inspiration?
Mine also was sort of born out of protests that were going on in Portland, especially after the George Floyd murder, and it just came out of the Black Lives Matter protests, how it has completely transformed my city that I've lived in. So much of our downtown has changed in ways I never thought I would see possible, and I thought it was important to capture that in a story if possible. And being a huge George R. Romero fan, I thought the best way to capture it was through zombies. And I think it worked really well because I have all this great free production design that is, now parts of my city.
It's really interesting. Your film has, boarded up buildings, graffiti, things that are broken in the background. It looks like it does look like a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that's all real. That all happened. Yeah.
But at least you find some humor in it. So that's great.
Yes.
Yeah. How about Eno?
So again, my film is just the conference call audio of a fake chicken nugget commercial brief, and you just see the footage change with them dueling out the visions of what this could be in real time. So I pretty much have been doing treatments for silly commercial ideas for other directors for a few years, and it's just such a black hole. Just toilet paper and aluminum foil, what people are trying to think of all the time, and the fluff they create. So I think it was just born from these ideas that never get made. So many commercial directors have to pitch against other people in a bid pool of 3, and 2 out of 3 lose the job, and they work for free to generate that pitch. And it's just the idea of like, where do dead ideas go when you put all that effort into pitching an idea as a filmmaker? And like, do they turn into other ideas? Is there a little heaven for your dead ideas? So that's kind of
And
what I
what
wanted to
and
touch on.
if somebody hasn't
Hope
seen the
not.
film, yeah, what's the product you're selling again? Deep fried subwoofers? I forget.
They are vegan-based glow-in-the-dark chicken nuggets with Bluetooth
That's it.
deep fried speakers.
I knew it's somewhere in the right area. Yeah, it's like an endless pitch plus endless commercial that comes out of the pitch. So I guess you'd
Yeah,
say,
it's
right?
like 6.
Yeah.
It just keeps changing
It
commercials.
just doesn't
Yeah.
end. It just keeps going.
Mhm.
All right, very cool. How about Francesco?
Yeah, I took inspiration from a painting actually, from Thomas Cole, from the same name of my short film called The Architect's Dream. I going through art school, like always working in creative fields, I always feel like there's this need of like creating a legacy of your own that becomes almost an impossible task after a while. And yeah, I took inspiration from this painting because I thought it was interesting to try to took a media which was still a visual media, but like as a painting from the 19th century, and like try to readapt it to modern times. There's no mention of the painting in the film, but it was just like what started the creative process, I would say.
Essentially, you have a devil-like character, or the architect makes a deal with the devil, so to speak, right? Was there took inspiration for the, I don't know what you'd say, creature that the wish giver? Any particular inspiration, or just kind of made up?
I honestly started with a little bit with a conversation with the amazing makeup artists that work on the creature, and also by a visual research that I constantly do. I feel like the creature was a medium to justify the ending of the movie, so I needed like a supernatural element in the middle to like justify the ending in a way. And it came out from that. Yeah.
It feels very original, so I wasn't sure. It's so original, it feels like it could be a historical base, for example, like something from mythology, maybe like that. So,
Thanks.
yeah.
I appreciate
Paul,
it.
how about you? Yeah, Paul, yours is kind of semi-historical, I guess, in some
Yeah,
ways.
it was. Yeah, like I read an article years ago on postmodern photography, and for those that don't know, it's kind of in Victorian times. Painting portraiture was very expensive, so most people wouldn't do it. Have images of their family, but when photography came in, it still was a bit expensive. So people would, take family portraits too late. When someone may have deceased. So it was kind of a common practice back then. It's creepy from our point of view, and that's kind of the lens that we told the story through. But like in writing it, we did a lot of research and just wanted to get as much accuracy as possible. But yeah, that's where the idea came from. And even though it's animated, we wanted to root it very much, make it feel as real as possible and as immersive as possible. So we drew a lot on Roger Deakins photography, that very low key lighting, and we wanted to make it like animation is my thing. Been working in it for 20 years. I love animation. Always tell stories through animation, but at the same time, I'm kind of saying, all right, it has to have a reason for it to be. There's no magical creatures in this. It could be a live action thing. So we said, let's make it look like a graphic novel. So in that way, we took a lot of inspiration from people like Mike Mignola and Patrick Reynolds, great comic book graphic novelists, like that. So and everything, every bit of color in it has a meaning. Feels like the story should be told in black and white, but the art director was always talking about color, so all of the color in it is used emotionally and meaningfully, and is tied to all the themes of guilt and death and all that kind of crack.
Well, it's really interesting to see it as animation. Of course, it'd be interesting to see it how it would play out as a live action. But I'm an animator also, so I love seeing how people produce a story in that medium. Okay, so I'll come up with some other questions for you guys' films individually. So Slav, because it's kind of like your film's a little bit like classic avant-garde, a man in the room and there's nothing in the room but a chair and a table and so on. Was there any particular filmmaker or film that you patterned after, or uh, took a director's body of work, or did it just come purely from your own imagination?
Well, to be honest, it was like the story itself came first.
Mhm.
I just sat down and wrote the story. Maybe subconsciously, I was influenced by somebody, but then once I started drawing the storyboard, which was like 90 pages, meaning that literally every shot was like planned and very carefully drawn. Then I started getting a lot of inspiration from old films, especially like German expressionist films, like Metropolis, all these old classics. So yeah, that's what I would say. German expressionist old films. And sorry for the sirens, but
Oh, it's okay.
you know.
And now, are you actually the actor in the film, or did you have another actor as the main person?
Oh no, I had another actor. Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't act because it would be too difficult, to act and direct at the same time.
Yeah. Well, plus you would have to eat all those donuts. If you haven't seen it, there's a lot of donuts that are consumed in the film.
Yeah, I mean,
Way too many donuts.
it was very very difficult for the main actor.
Yeah,
The
I
lead actor
sympathize with
to eat
him.
so many donuts, but
Yeah.
he was a soldier, and
Yeah.
I'm really thankful to him and to all the crew for doing this.
Awesome. And Roland, so you shot in semi-decimated downtown Portland. Did you just shoot, or just run out there and shoot, or did you have to permit it, or how difficult was it to even shoot at that time? Or you're muted right now. Sorry, you're muted.
Cops come to you.
Here.
Are you still? You
I'm
got
sorry.
me?
Could you start over on that? I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. You can hear me now? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was saying we had no permits whatsoever.
Mhm.
And I told my crew, if the cops come out, just talk to me. Don't talk to the cops. Just come right to me, and I'll handle the situation. Because we shot in front of our Justice Building, which was at the time graffitied completely, and at the time a lot of protesters had been causing a lot of damage to the building. So yeah, no permits for any of that stuff. We just winged it. No one was out anyway because we had huge fires coming in from Washington, and all that smoke you see in the movie is real. No one was outside anyway because of that, because of COVID. It was, we could only stay outside for 2 hours because lack of oxygen before we started getting headaches.
So it was very much method filmmaking. It's like you're really suffering the apocalypse.
Yeah, method, desperate filmmaking. Yes, it was a lot of fun though. We shot most of it in one day.
All right, very good. I'll go to Paul. Paul, being animation, which can be very painful to do, what was the production like on it? Was it many years? Was it a year? Did you have a big crew, or mostly yourself?
No, it was a year.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was 9 months, I think, from writing the script to getting it finished, because it was funded through, I applied for a grant through Screen Ireland. We got a fantastic budget for it, but we also got a deadline, which is good for me. So it gives me, I can put the head down. But you said it's a painful process. I literally got like tendonitis in my hands for just working. But it was a big production, yeah. It takes a lot of hands to make something even so short in animation. But like I was saying, when you were off switching your internet connection, I'm one of the founding members of a company called Boulder Media, coincidentally enough. And whenever I Google Boulder Media back in the day, loads of media groups from Boulder, Colorado would pop up, in the search. So it's nice that we're presenting here. But yeah, we got the grant and we had to get to work straight away. But what was really beneficial is that we were all working remotely, but we weren't hindered at all, because everyone in the company had all these pre-existing dynamics. I had worked previously with the art director of the short on something else, and I had directed all our animators, and so we all had this pre-existing relationship, so we could just jump straight in, and there was none of us finding our feet or trying to figure each other out. So it was great.
Good. What was the approximate total of how many animators you had working on it? 50,
God.
25?
Yeah, it could be even more, because the thing is with short films, as everyone knows, there's no money. There's no so it's the same animation. You grab the time when you can. So it's, you say to someone, would you be interested in working on the short? Like, brilliant, absolutely. Great, we're starting in a couple of weeks. Couple of weeks time, something pops up in their schedule and they can't do it anymore. So sometimes people can do a scene or two, or others are there and they do dozens of scenes. So I think there could have been maybe like 20 odd animators on it. But you get so many because people are jumping on and jumping off.
Yeah. That's so great for a short film production. Francesco, was that the house that's in your film is such a critical central structure? Is that a piece of important architecture by a well-known architect, or how's
Yeah,
it kind of
actually,
score?
it is. It's there's this we shot it in Vancouver, and there's this architecture from Vancouver called Arthur Erickson, which is in a way sort of like Frank Lloyd Wright of Canada.
Okay.
Made a lot of beautiful architectures here, and we were very lucky because, speaking of budget, as Paul was saying, we in short film, so it's never budget, right? So I feel like one of the beautiful things about Vancouver is that there is a very beautiful community of filmmakers here that help each other, and it's so even like the idea of like shooting movies is very, very digested in a way, even from people that don't work in the industry. So we found this family that lived in the house that basically gave us the house for free, almost. So it was but yeah, the house was obviously a very important element because it's a movie. I mean, the protagonist is an architect that lives in the house that she designed, so it needed to be like a kind of a statement of a house in a way. So yeah, that was probably one of the most difficult thing to find, I would say, in pre-production, but turned out good. So
I guess you have 4 main characters. You have the house, which is a character, right? You have the devil creature, or the wishmaker, and his agent, and then the architect. So they're all very critical. So it's great you were able to find that house to shoot in. Fantastic. How about so did you have to bounce? Did you have to pitch yourself a bunch of ideas, come up with the product that you had in your film? Did you go through a bunch of like strange iterations of products, or did it come to you really quickly to have the deep fried woofer Bluetooth device?
It's strange. In college, I did a music video. Instead of DJ Got Us Falling in Love by Usher, it was Schnitzel Got Us Falling in Love, and it was an entire journey of just breaded chicken with pop music. So I feel like my family's Viennese, so breaded chicken is kind of deeply ingrained in our culture. So it was very quick to decide on deep fried speakers and fried chicken.
All right, so it's very very core to you, the deep fried part.
Yes.
Okay.
Ancestral.
Are you still using those speakers to this day? Were they functional?
No.
Okay.
We made everything with foam and spray paint. It's a cheap way to get breading done.
It looked pretty delicious, so it was good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna come up with another question for everyone here. Let's go around again. A 2-part question. How important do you think film festivals are? And not only for filmmakers in general, but you personally. I guess that's the 2 parts. How important are film festivals for the film industry? And then how have you found them important for yourself in terms of your own filmmaking? And we'll start with Slav again.
Well, I would say, first of all, I'm young still, so I haven't been to hundreds of film festivals. But at least in my experience, festivals are certainly crucial, because most of the people that I've met, that they've made important connections with, or at film festivals, basically. And I think it's a great way to sort of basically to show your work to a specific audience. But I think it's really important to sort of, at least that's what I discovered in my experience, to sort of pick the festivals that you submit to very specifically, because not every festival. I mean, every festival screens different types of movies. So, but yeah, I think in general festivals are crucial, especially now during COVID. I think festivals are definitely one of the best platforms to showcase your films, especially if you're, an emerging filmmaker who needs exposure.
Okay. How about Roland? How about you?
Yeah, I completely agree with all he said there. On a personal note, I just really miss the networking, in-person networking very much. I actually attended your festival in 2016 with a short of mine, and I loved it. I thought your festival was well done, and I loved the little theater you guys had all your screens in, and I was very sad to hear that you guys are going completely virtual this year. I understand why, but I was still a little bit sad inside that I wouldn't get that chance to network with peers and meet people and see these amazing films, because it is a difference, I think, to filmmakers. It really is. But I think they're very important for filmmakers, no matter what status you are, emerging or grand or whatever, because it's just a great way to see them.
What was the film you had in 2016?
What film?
Yeah, which film?
It was a 5-minute short called Noisy Library.
Noisy Library.
And
I've seen too many short films. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why it was there. I was like, everything else I saw was so much better, and I felt kind of bad.
No.
The last day when at the awards, I decided to skip the award show and just go to Vegas for the day, and I felt better after that.
Okay. I'm sure there's a reason why we programmed it.
There must have been some reason. Thank you. I just don't know why.
At this point, I've seen thousands and thousands of films. Unfortunately, I don't remember every single one. Visually, I probably would recognize it, but I don't remember the titles every time.
I'll send you a link later.
Okay, cool. Re-experience it.
Yeah, I think just building off of everyone else, I think filmmaking is such an uphill battle, and getting your work made and funded and hoping one day to be doing it full time. I don't know if you guys are already, but I mean, that's the dream. And it's just your little baby for so long. And the second that you see it on the screen and have so many people react to it at once, it kind of reinvigorates why you did it in the first place. And it sets the spark for that next project. So I think it's really important to really get the energy back. I myself am pretty exhausted and sick of the film after watching it so much at the end. And also just meeting other people that are going through what you're going through and are in the same boat. I think it's just, it's cathartic.
Well, I'll jump in to what Roland said, and you said that one reason we started the festival back in 2003 was because I've been making my own films and printing them on the circuit. I got to see the films with these huge audiences, and at the time, films would just disappear. We'd see a great film, and then you couldn't find it again. So we wanted to help keep that alive, help more people see these fantastic pieces of art. And I do think they're all art. They're all very different, but they're just really unique art form.
And
just one important,
sorry.
one important aspect of it was being able to meet other filmmakers and having that connection to everyone else. It's like the films and the filmmakers.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eno.
I know there used to be this, I think the IFC still does this in New York, but they do like short film programming of just like the Oscar shorts sometimes, and just reading short storybooks sometimes. I find it sometimes more fun to see a program with lots of shorts than just one feature. It's kind of just a hodgepodge of so many things, and it's your attention kind of keeps up for for a bit more. So I just think it's a cool format, like programming
It
wise.
is. And if you don't like the film, it's over in 6 minutes or whatever. So you
Exactly.
just go on to the next one. Well, Francesco, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything that has just been said, and I also think it's a very good platform to display some experimentation that can be done, and see some like new voices that try to emerge. And obviously, on a personal level, this is my first short film, so I don't have much of experience in festivals, but I feel like it's so important for creating connections and knowing the work of other amazing directors and actors and whoever works in the other projects. And yeah, I think it's very essential as like a way of, again, yeah, displaying your work. I'm repeating what the other said, but like it's very essential. I cannot think of another way of doing it, in a way, it's it feels like this is the right one. So yeah.
Cool. Paul, how about you?
Yeah, to reiterate what everyone else said, yeah. But it's fun. This is like my third short film. I haven't made one in 15 years. I just got stuck into work, and but like said, when you do go around festivals, either virtually or in person, you get very reinvigorated with your work and the medium you're working, because you're just seeing so much incredible stuff. And even when you're researching, gearing up for your film, you're watching so much. So it's like this nice kind of uh, thing that keeps recycling. But yeah, it is very important. It's probably still even a little underestimated, because we screened at Austin, and after that people were getting in contact in terms of business. You always get the odd message saying, "Oh, we saw your film, it was really nice."
Mm.
But yeah, in terms of business, so it's great for the filmmaker to get out there, and you can find job opportunities and talk to people. But it's also great for bigger companies and filmmakers and publishers, that they get to see, even in one program, so many new creative voices, that they can say, "Oh God, like, that voice is perfect for this property that I have here," and get in contact. So it's great for everyone, filmmaker and others alike.
Yeah. It looks like we have a question from our audience that's tuned in. So it's a question for everyone. Let's see. Have you been able, oh, there it is right there. It just popped up. You've been able to screen your film in front of a live audience yet? And the second part is, what response have you had from viewers? So we'll go around again. Start at the top.
Yeah, first of all, Zdrasti, that's in Bulgarian. So I suppose maybe the person who's asking the question is.
Yeah, we have a Bulgarian plant in our festival organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
going to say it the American way, but Svetlana Stefanova, who's our executive director, is said something, whatever that means. I don't know what it means.
Great. It means like hello.
All right,
That's
awesome.
great. Yeah, what's the question? Yes, I was able to screen the film in front of a live audience, and I mean, I guess, what has the response been? Well, I would say two things. First of all, I recently read this book called "In the Blink of an Eye" by, yeah, you probably all read it, I guess. But there was this passage where Walter Murch says, when people pay attention, they stop like moving. They just sit and watch the screen. So at some points in the story, there were these moments, which was good, meaning that I was able to keep people's attention. And then the other thing I noticed was that it made people think, which was my intention. Rather than state a clear message, I wanted to sort of make people reflect and think about certain issues and things going on in society. And so I think in that sense, the film was successful, at least to the audience that I screened it at.
I'll jump in and say that another second part of that question can be potentially terrifying, because I don't know how you guys feel, but sometimes it's terrifying to show your film in front of a big audience. So you're never quite sure what the reaction is going to be. And I personally found that a film will play different at different film festivals, and the audience you happen to have that day. So if there's any trauma, that's okay. You don't have to answer the question. But we'll go next to Roland.
Well, adding on with just what you said about the audience, I think that was very true, at least for my short. Whenever I screened Zombie Walk in front of an Oregon audience or a Washington State audience, the response was surprisingly very emotional. And even though my film is like a dark comedy, because people remember the summer of 2020, especially in the Northwest, what went down there, I got a lot of like gasps and like I like kind of that, like I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more laughs. And I got laughs in different areas, different parts of the country. But yeah, it was quite an experience. I first screened Zombie Walk in I want to say March of last year, and so when COVID was still kind of pretty strong, it was a drive-in, and everyone had to stay in their car and they had to tune into the radio to see it, and they had it on a big screen on like a sign, and so that was a lot of fun though. That felt very invigorating. So I think it was a great experience to have it with a live audience. It's my biggest fear is always the sounds that can be bad. That's the one thing I'm always concerned about, honestly. But
I get scared about I get scared about bad aspect ratios or
technical stuff.
No sound for the first 30 seconds or whatever. Yeah,
the worst, man.
Yeah, ugh. I think we've all been there, right? I don't know.
Sucks so much.
No. Let's go to Paul next.
Well, we're like really lucky geographically to be able to take in so many live festivals, because based in Dublin, Ireland, it costs like $100 to nip over and back to London for the day. So I've been kind of going back and forth. So we've got a couple lined up that we're going to in London and Wales and more European ones. So it's great seeing it in front of an audience. Like I said before, I haven't made it short in 15 years, so we're on the train. We're taking it all in. So that's what we're and it is great to see it in front of an audience, because even when no one says anything to you, you can feel an energy in the room. And you can't describe it other than that. And you can tell when people appreciate parts of your film. And even when, even though ours is a horror, we wanted an emotional punch at the end, and that's it. But then when you see it in front of an audience, people come up to you and say, "Oh, I thought it was very moving," even though it's a horror. So you're like, "Oh God, that's great." They can have that interaction. But it's funny, our story from our premiere. Ours premiered in July in a festival in Ireland. It was in the middle of COVID, but in the Galway Film Fleadh is the festival. They reduced the numbers, and they said they were going to show it outside. And the weather was great, like blazing. We were actually in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, and lovely outdoor area and a little bit of shade just in case. Blazing sun, not a cloud in the sky. Film after film in the program, and ours was last. And the very last 15 minutes, these huge black clouds rolled in, and our film takes place in Victorian Dublin. It's dark gaslight, it's raining and lightning outside. Thunder clouds rolled in, and as soon as the film started, lightning and thunder and everything, and everyone ran in under the thing, and lightning and thunder behind this huge outdoor screen for the duration of the film, and then it stopped, and then the sun came out again. So it was an incredible screening, great experience. But that's what it is. It's great experiences seeing them with audiences.
So you really did sell your soul to the devil for that film, I guess. So
I did, yeah. Just let's keep it amongst ourselves.
All right.
Oh shit!
All right, Francesco.
Yeah, I was lucky to be able to screen in real life as well. At the first festival I got into, it was in this very nice theater here in Vancouver, which is a very like grungy sort of theater, and the festival was all about like grind genre. So it was like I feel like the audience was like already in the mood for watching being either like scary or violent or some element of like grind, and
Mm.
it was very scary to like see the movie in the big screen at the beginning. Obviously, I was like sweating in my seat, but it was very very beautiful and emotional. While everyone was looking at the screen, I was looking at the other people's faces because I wanted to see like what was the reaction around me. And it's true what Paul was saying. You can really feel the energy in the room, which I think is something very very special. That obviously is different. Like showing to someone that you know and do a private screening, it's a different thing, And like showing to an audience of people that you don't know, and like maybe in a big theater, it's always you can feel the energy much more, and that's very something. It's
Yeah. Well, you said
amazing.
you showed it in the Grindhouse Theater, but your film isn't really Grindhouse. It looks like it could become Grindhouse. Like, what
Yeah,
that would be
it
the,
wasn't like, perfectly meshing, I think, with the
but they
festival.
were they
They had some
disappointed?
other, yeah.
But they were there's no disappointment that it wasn't like blood and guts or anything like that, was there?
No,
They
there
appreciate.
wasn't anything like that. But they had like some movies that here and there were like not perfectly in that fitting in that
Hmm.
genre. But I feel like it's maybe a little bit adjacent if you want, but it's not, as you said, it's not perfectly. I wouldn't describe it as a grind film
No, it's
or.
definitely not. It has a very kind of dark vibe to it. Like you could feel it could go like really even darker, but it doesn't, which is good for the story. But
Mhm.
interesting where you were able to screen it. How
Yeah,
about Yeah.
strange.
I haven't been able to travel
Mm.
to the live screenings, but I hope they went well. And but I remember a director that I used to work with called Four Clubs did a cool commercial project at a festival where everyone got like pulse bracelets.
Mm.
And while they showed you a stressful commercial they made or an emotional
Mhm.
one, it would project in real time the stats of how people
Wow.
were feeling as they were watching. So,
Wow.
like how emotional, when they reacted, what was humorous. So, you got to see it and see who else felt what you were feeling while you're watching it. It was kind of cool.
We'll think about that for next year.
Yeah.
Well, what a concept. That's pretty cool. How about another question for everyone? So, what is your next project, or what would you like to work on, or what are you working on? We'll start with Slav.
Well, that's a very good question. I have a project that I would like to do, that I would like to make, hopefully back in Bulgaria. It's much different than the one that I just did. Um, and also, I guess my biggest goal right now is to establish a brand, sort of a production company, and start making things through the production company. I think because I also paint, I also do some other things when it comes to art, and I think that's my goal this year, to sort of unite it all. That's my next biggest project. And of course, meeting new people and finding collaborators, because I think that working alone can get you so far. You need um, as many people as you can find um, to create a great project.
Yeah. Cool. Roland?
First out, shout out to Slav because I also have my Walter merch book. So, yeah, man. But I am currently trying to fund a feature film, which is sort of an extension of Zombie Walk, that I want to shoot in Portland, hopefully in early April. I've got the cast, got the crew, just need the money, and that's one of the hardest parts to do. So working on that, and hopefully that'll be done by the end of this year.
Paul, how about you?
We actually I wrote Memento Mori with my wife. I had started off writing it with my wife, and I hit a wall, and she came in and helped, and she wrote so much that she became a co-writer. So we really enjoyed the process, and we said, okay, let's do something else. So I have like loads of notepads and things of ideas written down, and kind of just ideas, ethereal ideas. You're waiting for something to hit. So let's try and do something else. So we actually started writing more shorts until I was realized I wasn't emotionally ready to make another film so soon. Because I was like, geez, I'm not feeling that kind of. It's a need. It's an itch you need to scratch. And it's like I'm not there. It'll hit when I get a bolt of inspiration for one of these ideas. But I guess emotionally, I'm not there yet with any of these things. So maybe in a little while, the day job is taking up my time so much. But yeah, you really do need to be very much. Your heart needs to be completely in it before you start. And mine wasn't just yet when we were messing around a couple of months ago. So I said, let's leave it. Let's wait until the muse speaks to us.
Okay, fair enough. How about Francesco?
Yeah, what Paul says is very true. I always feel like I was waiting for the right moment to start doing something. On the other hand, though, I feel like being to festival and watching so many other short films really gave me a good. I want to do more, so my New Year resolution in a way was like to try to make at least a couple of short films a year. So fortunately, I have ideas. I know what I want to do next. Otherwise, obviously, it would be more complicated. I always have like a lineup of ideas that I finish one and I want to do the next one. So I just love the work itself. Just writing and directing and being on set and the editing, like the process. I really enjoy the process. So I think I want to really push for that aspect and trying to make a couple of new shorts by the end of this year.
Sounds good. And Eno?
I am like running on 1 hour of sleep now. I just finished like a day ago shooting my next short. We'll see how it goes. I was reaching out to so many people after the pitch came out, and I was obsessed with sending emails. So I did yoga with Adrian for like 30 days to get out of my head. And then I wrote a film about a yoga instructor who's so obsessed with reaching out for film jobs that she has a nervous breakdown. But we film it all like a very calm yoga tutorial video. Yeah, we just finished that. And we'll go to post soon.
All right, you're already there, I guess. All right,
Yeah.
we're getting close to the end of the hour here. We'll do one last round. If each one of you want to mention a good social media handle or a website that people can find your work. And again, everyone's work here is in two programs, our underground program or our horror program. So the audience can find them there. But if they want to find you afterwards, where should they go? We'll start with Eno. We'll go backwards this time.
It's Eno Eyes on Instagram. So ENOEYES, Eno Eyes.
All right, cool. Next up, Francesco.
Yeah, mine is pretty simple. If you can spell my name, it's Francesco.papetti on Instagram. So my name dot my surname. You can find me there. I use Instagram quite a lot, so I think that's probably the best way.
Cool. Paul?
Yeah, my Instagram is O'Flanagan Paul Art, and yeah, a lot of it is taken up with the film these days. But we have a website as well that is mementomorishortfilm.com, and again, there's tons of stuff on it as well, and screening, future screenings as well.
Cool. Roland?
Cool. Best way is probably Instagram. It's just Roland Stafford. I also have a website, rolandstafford.com. Either way.
Nice and simple. Slav?
Yeah, mine is it's just as simple. It's Slav slav.velkov on Instagram, and basically my name, slavvelkov.com, is my website. So that's where you can find it. Can I send it in the chat or I can't?
Well, I'm just letting people out in the world know that. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I guess so. The chat will show it up, right? Yeah, you guys can type in the chat.
Okay.
I'm not sure, just in case. I mean, your names are also on our website in terms of event that will show who the director is, and they can look you up that way also. So once again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you guys down the road here, hopefully in person someday also, not just virtual. So I'll wrap it up with a few announcements here at the very end. I want to mention that, of course, you can vote for all these films, and you have until 2 p.m. on Sunday to do so. And then we'll announce the winners Sunday night at another live stream. And in terms of other Q&As, we'll have another batch tomorrow, so we'll hope you join us then. And in terms of seeing them after they live stream, they are recorded. You can go to multiple places. If Eventiv's not working for you, go to our YouTube site, which works fantastic, youtube.com/damnshortfilmfestival. We'll have all the live stream recordings there. So we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Whenever I'm with you, I am alright. There's something about the way you make me feel inside. I'm counting down the days till we fly away, heading to the sun, only you and me.